So today we're going to talk about planning and executing your best 2022. I'm going to be out of the way here with the camera. And so I was here 3 years ago. And I remember last time I was here, there was a big snowstorm, power was out.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And we didn't know if I was going to present or not that day. And luckily the power went back on and I did the presentation. That's 3 years ago. And these 3 years, there's been massive, transformations in my life and a lot of structures I put in. And I'm going to share that with you today. So I'm not going to go into the intro yet. I'm just going to share with you my past, okay? And this is what happened 2 years ago. It was about the time I left here, I went back home, and I was a real estate agent I still am a real estate agent in Toronto, right? I went back to my real estate team, practiced real estate. You remember back then I had my Facebook Playbook strategy where I used Facebook to lead generate, right? But I wanted more. So I created a future 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I said, I want a family with love and affinity. I spelled "and" wrong, so I need a D there. So we'll make sure Andrea puts that in today. And at that time, I didn't have that family. At that time, I was going through a tough time in real estate. 2017 was really hurt us, and our business at 2018-19 was the lowest ever. And so there was problems at home because kids, Carrie here, my wife, and we worked together, and we're a husband and wife. So the family was not something that I was happy with back then. I wanted to create a family with love and affinity. I wanted a real estate team with freedom and ease. We were working, long hours, 7 days a week. And that's not what I wanted to have. So I wanted a real estate team with freedom and ease. I wanted a virtual assistant team. I had a friend named Shaw who had a team in Philippines. I said, I want that too. I want a company that can provide impact to in the Philippines. And that, in turn, can support agents too, right? It's a really amazing business. Then I said, I want a digital marketing company. I taught the Facebook Playbook. I know so much more with Instagram and all that. I said, I want a digital marketing company too. I also want to be a KW Market Center investor. Melissa, I'm available. I want to be a Market Center investor. I wanted to be that for the last 7 years. Even tried opening up my own Keller Williams at one time, right? And never achieved that. That was in my goals. And I wanted rental properties, lots of rental properties. Okay? And then also I wanted an online school. And then I shared this with others. I shared it with Carrie, I shared it with others. Are you crazy? Why don't you just focus on one thing? Carrie's always like, why don't you just focus on real estate? You're all over the place, right? I'm all over the place, right? How are you gonna do all that? So one of the things I want to share with you today is the mindset of what I took. So at this time, I was very lucky. I took this course called the Landmark Forum. Has anyone heard of that course before? Okay, so I'll talk more about that at the end. We're in the resource section. But at this time, I took that course. And it taught me this. I want to show you how this works. So you saw my big goals just now, right? And I know all of you have big goals. But have you had a time where you had these goals and you're like, no, I don't think I should have these goals. It's impossible. Anyone ever thought of that? A little bit? I don't want to put those goals too big. I should aim a little lower, right? I don't want to be disappointed, right? And then I found out, actually, these big goals are possible if you have the big actions that go along with it. And this kind of thinking, I learned from Gary Keller's Quantum Leap. So if you're going to go to family reunion, remember to take Quantum Leap. And this is going to be in the resource section too, okay? So these big actions started to appear. For example, if you want to do 100 deals a year, and someone says, that's impossible for you, right? And you worked it out? No, all you have to do is lead generate 10 hours a day, right? Just have big actions. Then you start to say, well, these big actions are impossible now. How am I going to lead generate 10 hours a day? If I have family, I have to go take care of the kids, right? I have to do other stuff too. So then the big actions become impossible. That's what I hit a wall. I'm hitting these walls here. Then I discovered, wait a second, big actions are possible if you have a big enough team. Okay? So if you have a big enough team, any action is possible. And then people say big teams are impossible to have a big team. right? Again, I'm hitting another wall there. Big team is impossible. And I said, no, actually, it's possible if I have conversations. If I have enough conversations with people, I can build that big team. So that's what it all boils down to, is the communication, is the conversations. And where I got that from, it was, again, from our founder, Gary Keller, our co-founder. He said in his Quantum Leap, if someone gave me a phone book and I called everybody there to see if they want to sell their home, it takes around 10 to 11 hours for a listing. But he says, I won't do that. I won't do that though. So this is where my mind got blown. He says, I'll actually call the phone book and try to find someone who will call the phone book. Okay? Maybe not one, maybe two, maybe three, maybe four. Then it's exponential this time. Then he doesn't have to call the phone book anymore. So that's the conversation to build those big teams that I got, my aha. Okay, which led to causing the big teams, which caused the big actions, and then causing the big goals. Okay, now. Okay, can you guys guess which one of these that I have accomplished, that I have right now?
All of them.
Not all of them. The first one for sure, okay?
That's
Family for
important.
sure.
That's the foundation.
That's the foundation, because once I got that, the one thing, once I got that, everything became easier. Yeah, everything became easier. So Carrie's over there. Thank you, Carrie, for causing the first one with me. Okay, so now I'll give you an intro of who I am. I'm Kirby Chan. I started this thing called Kirby Chan and Company. I wrote companies because I want more than just a real estate company. So that's Carrie over there. She's my team for the family. And with her, we built the family first, family team. And we have Kevin over there. So with Kevin, we built the real estate team. So he's our director of operations there. That's Jessa. Jessa's actually Kevin's wife. And she's the chief strategist to build the team in the Philippines. So we have 3 team leaders in Philippines now, and we have 10 virtual leaders over there that we teach them what you learned today, so they know the concepts when we onboard them with real estate agents and small businesses. Yeah, so they're not virtual assistants, they're virtual leaders. Like they take things into their own hands and they're causing things to happen. So that's Jessa, so she built that. That's Andrea. Andrea's in charge of building me as an investor with market centers. So not just one right now, I'm an investor in. So I'm an investor in 2 market centers now. So that happened these 2 years. And so Andrea's out there causing, what's a good word for it, Melissa? Like causing more agents, okay, to join the market centers that way. That's Andrea's a leader at that. And then this is Jessa, another Jessa. I have 2 Jessas in my team. So Jessa over there is the head of the online school in the Philippines. So what she does is she's a QL instructor, which we teach Gary Keller's Quantum Leap throughout the Philippines to young adults. So these are future leaders in the country. So we do that for free. Yeah. Then we have Ankit. So Ankit's the leading the digital marketing company that we have together. And then we have Teresa. So Teresa is leading the lending company that I have in the Philippines. We lend people money. So in Philippines, it's like 20% interest rate. So we go down as low as 8% for people there. They never heard of that. But for Canada, 8%, that's a lot. Okay, then we have Carol. Carol's my newest partner that I'm partnering with, and she's wanting to partner with me with a new fashion company. And that's an exciting game that I always wanted to play. I'm a graduate of fashion design in school. I never delved into that. So this is like time to do that. So this is my team that I built. And with these team members, I'm able to cause the goals that I set 2 years ago. So that's why today, I want to share that with you, because today, anything that you put down on that piece of paper or phone, that you can achieve. Okay, we're only like probably 1 year away from that right now, in this planet that we're in. Okay. So any of your wildest dream, we're going to put that on paper today. So first thing, is there any questions before we start? Any online questions? No? Okay, very cool. So you see this, I'm gonna explain this process here. So this is the puzzle, and that's your goals. You can see your goals as a puzzle. So what you're doing is to put together that puzzle, and then you'll have your goals. Okay, so we're gonna learn how to set our goals. We're gonna learn how to create it. Okay, we're gonna have a creation time together. We're gonna create your goals, and then we're gonna set up a plan. How do you plan to execute this to happen? And then there's a growth strategy we're going to talk about. And then after that, finally, is that last element there. Who's going to do the work? Right? And that's going to be inside the teams. At the very end, I have future down there, and that's going to be our resources. I'm going to give you resources that after this class you can take. Right? I'll be your resource, but there's going to be more resources out there. My alarm. I'm supposed to be here. I'm here already. Okay, let's look at the mindset. Inside real estate, what percentage do you think it's a mindset? It's a mindset game.
80%.
80%? Okay, anyone else? You can write it in the chat. Higher?
Yeah, 90.
90% mindset? Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, so 80 for you, 90 for you. Inside of like, I think in bold or something, they say like I think as high as 95% of it is mindset going in. And now someone's at 100. Maybe it even is 100 because your mindset dictates your actions, right? And I want to expand that, not just real estate. It's everything else is that same percentage for mindset. Okay, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your extracurricular activities, maybe it's fitness. 100% or maybe even 95% is mindset because you have to take action. It can't be only 100% mindset. There has to be action too, right? So what I want to do now is look at the mindset of these two things. Goals versus a creative future. So goals are something that we set, and we do that every year. And I started to see every year I teach like goal planning, goal setting, that a lot of my agents don't hit their goals. So I said, why don't we work it another way? Has anyone taken that course Bold before? Taken Bold? Yeah, from Maps Coaching. I took it 8 times, right? And this is what I learned, right? That if there's goals, we're chasing the goals. Okay? We do business planning, we do actions every month, and every month it's about chasing that goal. Sometimes we're behind, then we put more actions in. And we try to chase that goal, okay? And then 6 months later, you're gonna see, oh, something happened, right? I didn't see this, okay? I should have did this 3 months ago. I don't know if you ever do this in business, but it's like, oh, I should have did it 3 months ago. Or I sent these newsletters out to this farm, and I sent it for 3 months already, newsletters. So it costs a lot, it costs $1,000 each time we send it out. Then it's like, oh, you know what? We should have set up a Facebook group 3 months ago. And then put a call to action to join the Facebook group, right? But we'll do it now, right? What I see there is we're already 3 months late when we do that, right? So that's what chasing goals feels like. A lot of agents are doing that versus living a creative future. That's gonna be something that's something I created. It's something called creative future. And this is an example, right? I'm gonna talk about like climbing Mount Everest, climbing a mountain. If you chase a goal, you see a mountain, you just try to run up that mountain. Can you run up Mount Everest? Right? And you're probably gonna fail at a certain point. You're gonna get to a certain point, and you're gonna fail because you don't have a guide, you don't have a plan, you haven't had preparation, you don't have the equipment, right? So that's what living a creative future is that you have this creative future that you're on the top of the mountain. Then you're like, what do I need? I need a plan, I need a shepherd, I need all of that, right? And same thing that's the difference between a documentary and a movie. A lot of us agents feel like we're in a documentary where we're just cranking it out every day, just doing the work. I gotta lead generate 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day. But the 3 hours a day means nothing. It's just because someone told you to lead generate 3 hours a day. you go do it. Okay, that's a documentary versus a movie where you have it all planned out, everything to the T, everything planned out. You have your supplies, you have your resources, and then you plan out, okay, I got to lead generate 2.5 hours a day because of this. There's a reason behind it, right? It's like a movie. It's very planned out. So those are the things that we can have as a creative future. It's like how this future is created, that you have it all in a plan. Okay? It's just like when you buy, do you have a Kia here? Yeah? Okay, we can move here. There's a Kia. You buy a Kia furniture and they have this instruction booklet, right? So you can build it really fast. But imagine if you had the furniture and you don't know how to build it, you just guess with all those screws. It's almost impossible, right? So how this feature is created, you have a plan. And then you have all the Keller Williams tools like the 1-3-5 strategy, which is 1 goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies on how to achieve that. Okay, we're going to go into more in depth of these strategies. Okay, has anyone heard of the SWOT analysis? Right, finding out your plans, what's the strengths and weaknesses, what are the opportunities out there, and then the threats. Okay, and what about backwards engineering? Have anyone heard of that before? No. Okay, backwards engineering. They use that inside a corporate. They call it. They kind of say that it's illegal and stuff. It's where, you know, when a competitor takes the iPhone and they take it apart slowly just to see how they built it, and if you're the competitor, you can kind of build one yourself. So it's a knockoff, right? So it's like kind of cheating, but it's so much easier. The iPhone took maybe months to build. A knockoff by backwards engineering, they could take a month. They could build the same thing. Okay? So as real estate agents, there's no such thing as knockoffs. Okay, if someone out there has done it already and successful at it, backward engineer that process so that you can do it too. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in today's training too. And then you have all this plan ready. You put it all into a calendar. Anyone use a calendar here? Right, calendar is my best friend in real estate. It's in your calendar, it exists. Okay, if it isn't in your calendar, it doesn't exist. It's old law. And then finally, if it's on your calendar, you got to put into your calendar now, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? You. So I made a promise. Gary doesn't like to hear this. I made a promise to my team that I don't do anything. Okay? That leaves me to be able to create, because I'm not inside of the doing. Okay? But that's just me. I'm really into the extreme right now. Okay? Because the number of teams I'm running. All right. So inside of Quantum Leap, I'm going to share something here inside Quantum Leap. It's something called Entrepreneurial to Purposeful. And it's that concept I just talked to you about this creative future. Okay, Gary puts it in a different way, and it's pretty awesome. Switch to Gary's slides now. Okay, it's this moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. I think this is the best slide inside of Quantum Leap. That's why I want to show it to you guys today. Is being entrepreneurial is doing what comes naturally. So if you do what you can do naturally, you're always going to hit a ceiling of achievement. Okay. Then you're going to get disappointed, and then resign. Okay, you couldn't get further. This happens like if you see an agent's business, if they're plateauing at like 10 deals or 20 deals a year or 30 or 40, and they're the same every year, that's because there's a natural ceiling of achievement. After you get resigned, you seek greener pastures, okay? And then you go and the cycle continues. So if you know somebody that's been like, I know none of you here are like that. If they've been a mortgage broker, didn't work out. I'm gonna be an insurance broker, didn't work out. I'm gonna be a real estate agent, okay? And they keep going like that. That's being entrepreneurial, being, your natural abilities. See, that's why a lot of people join Keller Williams, this company, because we have all these models and systems that take you from your natural ability into production, right? So this is what Keller Williams does, right? So we move that to the purposeful approach. That's why Keller Williams has all these courses, has coaches, because we have agents focus, right? And then we look at the models and systems inside the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So all that over there, see what all the offering there, right? Then looking at all those models inside the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you have all these systems in there that we follow. We also have KW Command that you guys use, right? You guys can follow that. And what that allows you to do is break through your natural ceiling of achievement. Okay, coaching is also inside there, right? So that up there says it all. This process is a moment of truth, a decision, and a step. It's not a natural evolution. So what I'm talking about today, it's not natural to us. Okay, it's going to be very, very purposeful. Okay, this creative future that you're going to create up there, it's going to be very purposeful. Okay. Any questions about this E to P? No. Okay, I'm going to take a pause right here and see what have you gotten so far? What have you gotten so far? Any ahas right now?
Refocusing.
Yeah.
Bringing that in and being aware. Just refocusing. Reminders. That's what we do with it.
Yeah. Just tell me more. Reminders about what?
About to focus on the important things, because we know how fast a week, a month, a year. Like look at COVID. It's been 2 years, and it's like what happened in 2 years. So I just kind of think about that and say that we're different acronyms, or we've all heard it, but it's actually putting it to paper. And I guess one of the biggest things that I know people probably heard this too, and I kind of live by this, is success is not something you attract. It's like trying to catch something, a butterfly in the wind. It's something you become.
Yes.
You attract by the person you become.
Amazing.
So
that, thank you, Jen.
And see as possible. That's just what kind of gets me through. And having this and connecting them, making time for it, important.
Yeah, so people online, I don't know if they heard that, but it was about being success.
Like how do you attract success? It's about the person that you become.
Becoming that
You can't
person
chase
that attracts success and not chasing it. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Jen. That's awesome. Okay, just change back to the others. Okay, so then we start with that then. Being purposeful today is to creating that future. Okay, so you guys did some business planning with Gene Rivers. Maybe some of you have done that. Maybe some of you haven't, but we're going to create a future, not just for business. Okay, what's important for you? So if anyone has family inside of your mind, you want this family, create a future for next year, put it down, write it down. What is that creative future? Because the way that we do things is we do have B. Okay, I know some of you took in bold, right? They have this as a bold law, but a lot of us do have B. If we do something, then we'll have something, and then we'll be a certain way. Like kind of like what Jen just said, right? Alluded to this, is that Jen said you have to be successful, right? To attract success. Right? A lot of people know, I want to do this action, then I'll have a result, then I'll be successful. So we're going to kind of turn this around and change it around. We're going to go to be, do, and have. Okay? And I've done both 8 times in the last 12 years, and I've struggled with something I want to share with you guys. How do you be a certain way when we're not that way? That's what I've been struggling with these 12 years, learning this be, do, have. And these last 2 years, I finally discovered be, do, have. Okay? So be, do, have, there has to be almost like a transformation in the way we think before we can be a certain way. Things have to occur differently for you for you to be a certain way. You cannot just trick yourself. You cannot just keep doing affirmations in the morning, okay? So right now, today, what we can do, I don't have a course for that right now, but we'll talk about that in the resource we do have. Right now, what we can do is that creative future that you wrote, that you're gonna write down now, I'm gonna give you some time. What do you want to have as an outcome for your family, okay, for your work, and for anything that matters to you? If you wanna run a marathon maybe, you can put that down, I wanna run a marathon. And then look at, like, who are you being once that's completed, okay? Not who do you have to be now, but who are you being once that's completed? So bring yourself, fast forward yourself into the future, right? And look at who you're being. Next question.
I don't know if I'm a new agent or not, but I don't have the experience to draw from to tell you, I sold this many years ago, but 2 weekends ago I ran a marathon and that was the goal of mine.
Wow.
Working at 4 months, and I beat my time by like 4 minutes, which was huge. It was huge for me. But that's my way of kind of thinking about the goal, is to like without that plan of eating right, running so many kilometers each week, gradually increasing it. I never would have got there. And the mindset that I am a runner versus like I'm just gonna do this and it's like a fitness goal. It's like I did do this. Like I'm an athlete. So the more I believed I was an athlete, the faster I ran, the more the tracks I had on my phone to progressively get me there quicker. So it was definitely a mindset. So that's how because I don't have this experience, that's how I think about goals and what it's used to.
Nice. What's your name?
Gina.
Gina. Thank you, Gina, for sharing that. Because what I got from that is you've already completed the marathon on day one, and you're being that athlete. And all you're doing now is you're filling in the blanks. You're fulfilling it. You wrote the script already, and you're like an actor. You're fulfilling it. You're just going through that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And that's my goal, is to run a marathon next year. So maybe you can teach me how, okay? How to fill in from now to the marathon, like what needs to be done, right? So let's just look at for example, the marathon example. Like if you took the marathon example, what's priority number one for running a marathon? Was it?
A plan.
A plan. Yeah. So you have to have a plan. What's priority number two? Well, number one is have a plan. But priority number two could be nutrition, right? And then priority number three, probably maybe, doing the work, actually going on and running it, okay? So everything that you have a creative future, you can set up in priorities. It could be one priority, it could be two, it could be three. And this is, in Keller Williams, we call this a 1-3-5, right? One goal, three priorities. So for me, I'm doing that same thing, that marathon. I'm gonna have those three priorities there, and I'm gonna look at what are my strategies for these priorities after this. And I'm gonna pick 5 strategies for each of these priorities. Okay, you can do that with your family. You can do that with your business. So let's take this time now, like write down what are some of the goals you want. And when you write down goals, you want to be specific. Be specific. I want to do like 20, I'm in Halifax now. I want to do like 80 deals next year, I know you guys, units are high, right? Yeah? I know you average what, 80 deals? So 80 deals next year. Like you want to write that down. I have closed 80 deals next year. Like be very specific. Now, like I want to close a lot of deals next year. That would be very vague. Okay, you can't set up a plan for that. Okay, what else do you want to create? Does anyone have anything to share about inside your health or family? What do you want to create next year? If you're online, write it in the chat. Liam's writing. This is not writing. You completed it already, it looks like. Do you have any goals, Melissa?
I do.
For next
Yes,
year?
we actually just set our goals for the Market Center for next year.
Oh. Okay. Agent count goals, or
Agent count goals, yeah.
are you allowed to share it or no?
We haven't submitted it yet, but
All right.
it's all
Anything?
about growth, right? So we want to maintain where we are, because obviously we want to grow and move forward, because as we grow and there's more market share out there for all of our new agents, then we're going to attract more market share, right? It's all about building your businesses.
Yep.
And then we grow what you grow.
Amazing, thank you, Melissa. Anyone with a family goal?
Yeah, I want to do at least one family trip a year,
I love that.
wherever that is, if we can. And if we can't, we still take time doing it.
Well, let's write that down right now. Like, when is that family trip going to be? Let's put it on paper right now. Just let's have some fun. Let's create it. Let's just say June or something, or summer, and then inside that goal, like write in, where do you want to go? Right. So don't have anything holding you back right now. You could put anything you want on paper. Where you want to go. It could be
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. Yeah.
I want to go to Bora
Now,
Bora.
the key to writing goals, don't think about how much it's going to cost, how am I going to get there? No, don't think about any of that right now. This is a creative future, right? We're looking at the impossible. Remember that in the beginning, I talked about the impossible? People are going to say, that's impossible. Your spouse might say, that's impossible. Your mom will say, you're crazy, that's impossible, right? It's not impossible. Let's just write it down. Even if you want to do 100 deals next year or 200, okay? We'll talk about the action plan after. You can see if it's possible or not. So write it down. Maybe it's your health. I want to be 160 pounds next year. That's what I created for my creative future. And I feel like I'm 160 pounds already. I've always been 130 pounds. And I never able to get up to that weight. And finally, this year I got to 140, now 145. And it's been hard for me to gain weight, yeah. Okay, so put that down. So then these are your goals that you can work on. Have to be very specific. So if you want to look at like Google it, SMART goals, like you want goals to be specific, measurable, and then ART. Okay, you guys can Google that. It's not for today. Attainable, realistic. I think it has to have a time frame too.
Time-based.
Time-based, yeah. Now that you have these goals, we're going to talk about a technique called reverse engineering or reverse planning. So again, you guys can Google more of that if you want more examples of how other people use this inside of institutions and schools and big corporations. Reverse engineering, just like that phone that you dissect it and try to find out how to do it. What I'm going to do is probably talk to Gina over there and I'll say, how did you do it? How did you run that marathon? And I'll go backwards. What did you do the week before the marathon? Oh, you did that. What mistakes did you make? Oh, that's the week before that. I should have actually picked up the race kit, earlier. And I write it down, right? I get to reverse engineer this. And then the week before that, what has to happen? Okay. And then what has to happen before that? So that's the key to planning, is to go in reverse. Okay, if you go in reverse, you can find out what needs to happen before something needs to happen. What this does is it allows you to go into cheat mode, okay? Or my kids call it like God mode, okay, when they're playing a game. Because if you've ever done a maze before, those mazes where you put the pencil and you try to draw the maze, and we're always going to wrong sections, and we hit a wrong section, and we have to go back and try another section, right? Because the maze is set up that way, so it's challenging. What if you go backwards? Has anyone done that? Yeah, one of my son, our second son, Liam, is like extra tricky. He'll go backwards and he'll do it really fast because backwards, there's only one way, right? You have no access to go in the tricking ways, okay? There's one way. So if you go backwards, it's much easier. And that's what you do with reverse engineering your goals. Go backwards. So the trip you're going to take next year in June to Bora Bora, what needs to happen before that, right? Packing before that. Where it gets tricky is where you pay for the trip in Bora Bora, right? What needs to happen before paying for the trip, right? And you go work backwards on that. Okay. And same thing, remember before I said there's a farming example where I sent out newsletter. Again, look at the creative future. I have the newsletter sent out. I have the Facebook group set, with 100 people from my farm area, or 200 or 300. I said that in the very beginning of the creative future. Then when I work backwards, I know when my Facebook group is going to be created. And I'm not just going just forward with no planning. Then finally, you look at the next, what needs to happen for that to happen. So you do a backwards planning. At the end of all this, you're going to get a set of steps, what you need to do. Okay, so you have this plan. You're not done yet, right? You have this plan. Then you take that plan and you want to break that plan. This is important. And this takes a lot of time in the beginning of the business, of your life planning. If you want to break that plan. So for me, my Carrie over here at the family, I want to know, when is she going to be mad in this plan? When is she going to be pissed off at me here? You know? And I can see right now in our plan, Christmas is going to be broken here, because you know what? Where am I going to buy that present for her, right? Looks like it's not on the plan. She's going to be pissed off. Okay, let me add that to the plan. That's broken there. So we want to know where the plan is broken. Okay. If Jen looks at her travel and it's like, oh, it's broken here. I didn't address how to get that money to go to Bora Bora. So you want to break that plan. So that's where the SWOT analysis comes in. That's where you look at where the strengths are in your plan, where is potential weakness, opportunities, and threats. Okay. Then you look at, is it bulletproof? Anything missing in the plan? You want to have a plan that's bulletproof. Like nothing will go wrong. Okay? And if something goes wrong, something will happen. You have built-in strategies here. And finally, this is the key here, is that you don't have to. However, our level of where we got to right now is because of what we know and what we do, right? But if you mastermind with others that have done it, okay, or are doing it right now, you'll rise much faster. So stand on top of those giants that have done it before. So inside of working your plan out, find someone who went to Bora Bora already, right? Find somebody like me. I found Gina over there who did the marathon already. I don't have to figure it out again. Okay, and then I give the plan to somebody. I finish, I give the plan to Gina, I say, hey, does this work? Do you see anywhere where it breaks, where it doesn't work? And she says, no, hey, okay. I say, okay, I'll give it to another marathon runner. I say, hey, what do you see here? Oh, hey, you forgot the bananas here. Why? Oh, bananas, they're crazy energy food or something in the morning. And then another one, I give it to another person. They might go, oh, Kirby, you might want to do a little bit of black coffee in the morning. That gives you that jolt for the starting line. Okay, and then I add that in. So mastermind with others. And this works really well inside of real estate. Okay, so if you like, oh, I love door knock. Are we allowed to door knock here?
You're allowed to door knock?
Yeah? Oh, I love door knocking. I'm just going to run door knock. You run door knock, and you're like, I don't get any business. But the other door knocker over there in the other county or something gets a lot of business door knocking. Go mastermind with them. Okay. The beauty of agents is that you're not competing against another successful agents in the next city, next country. Okay, and they can teach you a lot. Gene? Yep.
Thinking about like with the marathon running, like tuning into different podcasts, like prior to just listening to what you're saying as experts talk about what their experience was, or whether it be like a personal development podcast, like mindset mentor, just different ways to program your mind while you're doing something else. So while I was walking, while I was waiting, whatever it was, you're just feeding your mind that personal development that again takes you further. While you might be doing a mundane task, some of those in there,
Yeah,
really
Gina said that it really helps doing mundane tasks, that you're listening to podcasts, you're increasing your knowledge in that feature, right? In that aspect, in that project. And that's perfect for marathon running, right? Reading books, right? Watching YouTube to gain more knowledge. And then inside of real estate, we could do the same thing. Does anyone know what event is coming up, like next February, that we could do the same thing?
I'm not sure, it's a reunion or something?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, I just remember something.
Yeah, we have a family reunion. And that's the same thing what Gina just said, right? Those are the giants that are on stage or doing breakout sessions that have done it or doing it right now. Okay. What you're listening is today is different. Before, you may have joined family reunion and it's very entertaining for you, right? Those breakout sessions. But now you're not listening like that. If you took this class, you're listening for now is the plan. What are they talking about? What they're talking about, where can it fit into my plan, in your strategies? So then you never leave any breakout session or any keynote session that they do without adding something into your plan that we're developing today. Okay, so that your family reunion experience from now on, it will be about enhancing your plan, and it won't just be very entertaining, come back and whatever, keep going on with my life. Okay. So thank you, Gina, for that. Okay, so the plan, so I don't know your plan. I don't know your plans for your family, but what I'm arming you with is the tools to develop that plan and for you to reach out to people that have done it already. Okay. So you don't do it alone. So now that you have this plan, you gave it to a lot of people, you're brainstorming, you have this plan, and I already planted Gina over there to talk about marathon. That's why you can see step 1 is schedule all the runs, right? Step 2 is follow your nutrition plan. Step 3 is complete that last long run, right? And then step 4 is prepare for race day. So this is actually designed backwards. I prepare for the race day in my plan. I completed my last long run. I put that in the calendar. I follow my nutrition plan, so putting all the nutrition plans in there, what I'm eating every day. And then the last one is scheduling all the runs. Okay, work backwards. 4, 3, 2, 1 here. So trip to Cabo. What's before that one? And you put it all on your calendar. Your calendar is going to be very full after this. But if it doesn't exist in your calendar, it won't exist in real life. That's the truth. Now, what does this give us, though? After we put in everything that's important to us, everything we want to create for next year, and it's all on the calendar, all the steps to take it, it's all on the calendar by November, the year before, this will save you time next year. What else would it give you next year? A plan, yeah. Anything else?
It'll let you know how you're doing and time frame.
Let you know how you're doing, time
So
frame.
you can adjust it if you have to. I don't know if you're allowed adjusting it, if it's evergreen or if you stick to it. I don't know the answer to that.
Perfect, Jen. You can measure it and then you can adjust it,
Yeah.
right? Without a plan, you're just kind of like randomly doing stuff, right? Oh, I'll take a trip next year. I just don't know where. Well, we'll take one though. And then by December, you're like, oh my God, the year's almost over. I gotta take a trip. Go to the Christmas vacation. Let's see what's any good deals, last minute deals. And you become that last minute agent, right? And that's what I don't want to be anymore. Because Carrie knows me as last minute Kirby, very last minute, or quick fix Kirby, quick fix. Just doing something to fix it really quickly. And I don't want to be that husband. So I want to be that husband that plans things. This lets me be a dummy. Okay? I always say to people, I'm just a dummy though, okay? And I only want to be a dummy. Okay? I don't want to execute and do things. I don't want to plan all year. I don't want to waste time planning. So all of my planning is done the year before. So November, December, all my planning is done. Any specialist I need to talk about masterminding is done in November, December. Everyone in my team, all those like 8 people you see, I plan with them next year. So all our plans are done. We have a very extensive Excel spreadsheet now where all the planning is done. If we finish early, I'll show you one of my spreadsheets, okay? And once the spreadsheet is done, that's it. Go towards it. So for me, once this is done, I talk about teams, okay? This is very simple. Who's gonna do it? Because I have all these actions done. The marathon's a special case. Unfortunately, I have to do it, right? Okay. Too bad I can't get someone else to run it for me, right? So that's the only one. But I can have a team of coaches. I didn't put his picture there, but CJ is my coach there, my personal fitness coach, and he's gonna support me to running that marathon. Okay. And then who else? Who else is gonna be there? Okay, you have a lot of actions that you're gonna put out. Okay, my suggestion is that if you have these big plans, you're gonna have big actions there. Just don't do it yourself. Do it with a team. So doing it with a team, there's a guy called Glenn McQueenie. He's been here a couple times, and he said to me, Kirby, I told him I don't like to do this action here, right? And he said to me, Kirby, you know what? What you don't like to do, somebody else out there really wants to do it. Why are you taking that away from somebody? Okay, why are you doing this? You're suffering a couple hours. You don't want to do it. Give it to someone else. Let them do it. They want to do it. They might even do it for free. Okay, so I thought, okay, let's build some teams. So let's look at what needs to be done, and then finding the people that want to do it. Okay, and then my secret, if you saw in the beginning, those people that are leading the teams, is finding people that want it more than me. If they want it more than me, I don't have to manage them. I don't have to motivate them. So one example is the Philippine virtual assistant company. It's called the Power of 1,000 Leaders. And what I did there was enroll a team member. So talking to Jessa, which is now the chief strategist, and she fell in love with the game. She said to me, like after working a couple months, she's like, Kirby, this is my lifelong dream. I only want to do this, I only want to create leaders in the Philippines so they can build a great life, find jobs, be in abundance, make money. And all I want to do is coach them and, duplicate myself. Because she is like a super extraordinary like admin type, okay? Introvert admin type, like this will be like a CSI type. And all she wants to do is create more of these, okay? And that was her dream. So for her, I don't have to motivate her. I don't have to, give her a lot of money to do that role, because she's been doing that role for a year and she hasn't been paid yet. Yeah. So she hasn't been paid a cent yet. Yeah. So.
What's your strategy on
That's a
that?
trick, yeah.
I was gonna say, what's your strategy on that?
Because she wants it more than me.
She must have a plan herself within this,
Yeah.
as part of it.
Yeah, so she wrote her own plan when she's gonna get paid. Right? So the company is still launching, and I'm still pouring money in every month to maintain it. So she said, I don't feel right taking money from the company in this stage. Yeah. So she already factored in that January she's gonna start, December, she's gonna start getting paid this December. Yeah. Because by January we'll be profitable. So when you create teams, you want team members, again, they want it more than you. Those are good team members. Who has a real estate team with team members on your real estate team? Like if you have, your real estate team members, if your real estate team members is actually more bought into that business than you are, and want to hit those goals more than you, wow, you got a great teammate over there. So that's what we call teammates that are not just pushing, pushing or pulling. They're actually pulling you. They're pulling your leadership, your teammates. So then you have to step up, right, to lead them. Those are amazing teammates. In the past, okay, I was afraid of these teammates. I would actually not take them on. I was scared of them because I said, okay, if I'm a leadership of 8, Why am I putting a leadership of someone 9 in my company, right? They're gonna leave me, right? And I can't lead them. They're too dominant, I would say. Right now, I don't have that anymore. Maybe I push my leadership to 10. Maybe I'm not afraid of having a 9. But I love it when I see these people. Okay, I love it when they're motivated to play, to play this game with me, and it's more important for them. And inside of career visioning, so I really recommend taking that course, career visioning. And you go through the career visioning process. There's a key question near the end inside of the motivational interview where it says, hey, 5 years from now, and you say, life is awesome on the team, like describe it for me 5 years from now. Okay, so that's that creative future we were talking about earlier. So they get to create that future sitting with you, your teammates. And if that creative future is in line with what you're doing, yeah, I take them on the team. So that's a pivotal question for me inside of career visioning when I'm hiring people. Okay. It's 5 years from now, describe it. We're working together, describe it. Yeah, how else can you find teams? You can email people to find teammates, go through your Facebook network, right? Talk to other Facebook friends. Who do you know can do this? Okay. Go through your internet and social media, okay? Then you work through your network to find these teammates. Again, don't do it alone. There's always someone out there that is going to do it better than you, okay? And that I'm going to share a story here because this is something I've broken through just recently. And the TV and the media is always, putting this in our minds. Is the concept of being the hero, the concept of being the superhero is always drilled into our minds so that we have to do it. We have to go in and save people, right? And we're not. We're not. In those superhero films, actually, I see the hero now as those super villains, okay? Because imagine all those super villains, they all have teams. Have you noticed that? A lot of foot soldiers and teams that are really causing a lot of good stuff happening, like feeding families there. They must pay those foot soldiers, right? So those guys are actually creating teams and teamwork. They actually have the real superpower there, the super villains. So I watch movies now, I watch it a different way now. Like, that super villain, he's like, what's his system there? How does he have how many goons there? So that's what you want to be, is to cause those teams and teamwork and not be that hero working alone, okay? And trying to save people on your team, or you want to let them grow for your team. Right? So now you have the calendar all set, all these actions, you put their names on there, who's doing what for your action plans. Now that's how you grow these big goals, right? You have these big actions. Now that's big teams now, people doing it. Okay, and it could be, expand your mind, it could be your mom. So my mom and Carrie's mom and dad were, like my mom and dad, Carrie's mom and dad, they're part of our team. How they're part of our team, Carrie? They're taking care of the kids right now. I got 3 boys.
So I was just gonna say that it's maybe think of teams. You think if I originally thought of like a team, like having a team someday, but it's who's there to support you and promote you when you're not promoting yourself, right? They're there to support you. So that's kind of what I'm figuring, who my key players are that this might be that I've worked with in the past.
Yep. So figure out your team. So when you look at the action there, like Carrie and I playing backwards, okay, we're in Halifax here. Before Halifax, who do we drop off the kids to? Mm-hmm. Then we look at the team. It turns out my mom. So I call my mom. My mom said, no, I cannot look at it for 5 days. Okay, can you do nights? Okay, that's Phil, the team member. Then we look at day. Who can do day now? So we call Carrie's parents. Can you do days? They said, yes, they do days. Check, covered. Okay, so those are our teammates there. So expand our minds with who's teammates, right? And there's people in the market center. There's your MCA, there's your team leader here for teams. Anyone have in their creative future, anyone put profit share on there? No? Yeah, I put profit share. I put 20,000 next year for profit share. I say, who can support me with that? I put leader, I put team leader there. Like, wait a second. The market center pays for the team leader. How can the team leader be on my team? Well, guess what? The team leader wants it more than me to have me cost 20,000 in profit share, right? And I don't have to pay her anything. My team leader, it's free. Okay, that's a crazy thing. Okay, I just give you that. But it's just like, oh no.
Laura Lee would love to have everybody grow their profit.
Yeah. But did you just see that? Someone will work for free for you, for your goal, because your goal and her goal aligns. Okay, because your goal will actually further her goal. And you keep doing that with everybody that you play these games with, these team members. You're not asking people to work for free, right? You're asking them for them to hit their goals too. So your contribution to Laura Lee just by putting down I want 20,000 in profit share next year. Then you work backwards. How are you going to do that? If you don't know, ask Laura Lee. How do I do this? Create a plan for me. Have it done by Friday for me. Thank you. You just leave. And next Friday, she's here's your plan. Right? Here, go talk to one agent every day and just say hi. Or have coffee with them every Friday. Can you do that, Jen? Can you do that? Can you do that? There you go. You just ask someone to do a plan for you. All you had to do was say one thing to her, and you got 20,000 next year. Okay? So putting people to work for free is not hard. It's just in a conversation. Right? So then you have this puzzle now. That's it. You have your best life ever because you put it down now, in November. You didn't wait for it to happen next year. You didn't try to crank it out next year. You wrote it all down now and it all in your calendar. Now, by December, your calendar might look like a big jumbo sort of thing there. I use Google Calendars. And what I do is I put a label there for each section. So each kind of game I have, I put a different color. So it's just very easily, when I open my calendar, I know what is what. What's what on my calendar. So like in my calendar, I can see the different colors. Like I see blue, I see red, I see purple there. Okay, so I see different colors. I see gray for family. Okay. So it's very full though, you see that? It's very full. And the good thing is a lot of it is not done by me. I put in the calendar so I know that it's managed already. Okay, there's a system to that. Okay, there's some things that are managed, and then every week now, you just look at, is that done, right? Is that done? So let's just put Laura Lee as an example again. It's like, is that done? Like every week I'm sending you now one agent to talk to. Is that meeting complete? Laura Lee says, yes, here's the result of it. Okay, thank you. And you can write it down and manage that. Okay. And that becomes the puzzle. You can fill it up next year. Guess what? You were a dummy all year. You just did what it says in your calendar, and you went to Bora Bora. Easy. You got that Christmas present for your husband or your wife. Easy. It was in the calendar. Oh, that Christmas card, actually sent it in February, so I already planned it for Christmas. That was easy, done. Everything becomes just executing, being a dummy and executing. Okay. All the time we waste planning or being afraid to do something because it's not in the calendar, all that is gone. All that worry is gone, and you just have this thing called, I would call this really dumb confident feeling throughout the whole year. You're just filled with confidence. You know it's going to happen. It's all on the calendar already. So then you walk into anything and you're confident that's going to work. It's a big difference than trying to walk into a year where you're doing things and you're like, not sure if it's going to happen. Okay? That's the mindset shift for you coming into next year, is you're just going to be so confident in everything you do because everything's planned out already. And it wasn't planned out just by you. You masterminded with the professionals. Remember that? They did it. So you have that dumb confidence because someone else has already looked over your whole plan and it's going to work. And with that mindset alone, going to anything, it's going to be so much better than coming into a mindset where I don't know if I'm going to get this right or I'm going to get this done. So I don't guarantee 100% success, but I guarantee 100% improvement over thinking of not being fully confident, okay? Okay, let's look at the resources. Before resources, let's talk about some ahas from online. If you put in the chat, or if they want to talk, I have the earpiece, okay? But okay, does anybody have any ahas right now? So ahas is something that you, like a light bulb moment.
Remembering the Laura Lee is a resource.
Remembering Laura Lee as a resource. Yes, great aha. Anyone else?
I like the part about putting everything on your schedule, even those little, goal, I guess, points, something that you need to achieve by a certain date, because that is the thing you say you're going to do something sometimes, and then you just, it's a great idea, but it stays out in idea land.
So it's a great idea sometimes, but if it's a great idea, it goes nowhere. So having things in your calendar all laid out is a great idea, I heard. Thank you for that, online participant. Who was that?
Kelly Brown.
Thank you, Kelly. Oh, Kelly Brown.
welcome,
Thank you, Kelly
Kirby.
Brown.
I didn't realize you were actually
We
in
wanted to go to
Halifax. I would
Prince
have
Edward
been
Island. We don't
there.
have any time yet. Okay, thank you. Next time we're gonna go to a PEI. Anyone? Who else? Let's have one more here in person. Have one more share.
I want to kind of build on Kelly's, but getting to be a dummy for the rest of the year. Like you don't, I'm an overthinker. I overthink everything. So I'll sit there and play it for hours and hours, and then I'm too overwhelmed to actually do the thing. So having it all in the calendar where you just look at it and you do it, no thought about it really.
Yeah. Awesome. So no thought, you don't have to have much thinking in it.
Yeah.
And that it's already, the bigger picture is already there. Yeah. And so I'm going to expand on that a little bit, because I don't want to put it like you don't have to plan anything after that, because Jen said there's breakdowns. Then we could pivot. And we get a chance to do that because we have something to gauge it on. We know where there is something that's not working. We're not on plan, right? But if we don't have a plan, we never know if we're not on plan. We just keep going off course until it's too far. So that's another thing you guys can look at, is when you're off the plan, how do you get back on it? Okay, adjust. That's another reason why we have this plan. Okay, let's look at some of the resources. Because today I talked about a lot of things, and if I just leave that with you, it's great, you got what you got today. But I also want to give you the resources that I went through, so that if you want to go through what I did, my journey, you guys can do the same thing. Okay, these are the resources. Like 2 years ago, this shift that I had in mindset was from a course I took called the Landmark Forum. So it's an online course that really looked at that we do have. Okay. So they have courses December, February, and May. Now, I was introduced to this course when Carrie and I were in MAPS coaching. What was our coach called? Melanie. So we needed a transformational coach, okay, because we were having, arguments, a lot of arguments between us. And she says, hey, you know what? She's a graduate. She took the Landmark Forum, okay? So we took the Landmark Forum, and she's like, yeah, a lot of MAPS coaches, transformation coaches, has to take this before they do coaching. I said, okay, what am I going to get out of it? So what I really got out of it is that there are things that were holding me back. And Carrie also took the course. There were a lot of things that were holding us back, like a lot of things in the past, okay, that started to dictate what we call today this creative future. We weren't actually able to create a future because of all the baggage we have, especially about each other, or about how the business is going to run, how the family is going to be. So after taking that course, that was allowing me to open up my mind to create these futures. That's the course in December. It runs February and in May. Okay, so if anyone wants more information on that, they can talk to me after the session. And Keller Williams agents get 10% off from the Landmark Forum. So instead of $735, it's 10% off, okay? 661, I think. Okay, and that's an online course that runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 12 hours a day. Okay. 12.
It's long, but the time goes by really fast, and you'll come out. You have to be coachable.
Yeah.
You have to be like Play-Doh, like moldable.
Yeah.
You fight the walls, it won't work.
So if you remember, there's this code called BOLD. It was 7 weeks, right? This is just like that, but it's only mindset. There's no real estate stuff in it.
Actually, a lot of things from bold are taken from Playbook program.
Yeah, it's pretty cool course, and yeah, so Keller Williams gets 10% off there, and it's all run on Zoom now. Everything's online. So I took that 2 years ago, and then Gary Keller's Quantum Leap. Do you have that here? Do you teach that Quantum Leap?
No, we don't have any certified instructors, so we do Stevens when we do it.
Okay. So Stephen Hanlon does the Quantum Leap for agents, right? And he also does Quantum Leap for young people, so 18 to 28. So I teach the young people one, 18 to 28, and I teach it right now for kids in Philippines with the other Justin. So maybe it's something we can talk about.
Absolutely.
Teach Quantum Leap here, okay? And then also another resource is Facebook Playbook. Okay, so if you have something in your plans next year to cause deals to be done, and you want to use Facebook, you want to use social media, then put that into your scheduling. Then November 17th, I'm going to be starting 4 classes online. So every Wednesday for 4 classes, I'll be teaching how to cause business to happen on Facebook. So that one, there is a cost of that one, and that one's $97 for that one. And then finally, we have a resource, is the Power of 1,000 Leaders. That's the company in the Philippines, where for me, it's when I have it in my calendar and I don't have a team member, okay, to do that task there, or to take on that accountability, okay? So I have one that's gonna be like that monthly newsletter that I send out to the farm. I don't have anyone to do that on my team. So I called the Power of 1,000 Leaders, hey, can you get me somebody that will do a postcard for me every month? So yes, I have JD, so I put JD on my calendar. So done. And how much do you charge? They said, okay, for JD, it's $10 an hour. So I'm gonna offer that to you guys. That's a resource. So if you wanna reach out about that resource, then my Facebook, can you put it in the chat? The Facebook is, my Facebook's Kirby, and put leader at the back, and you can connect with me on Facebook. Okay. And if you ever wanted to hire one of those leaders, you can reach out to me there. So that's kind of like virtual assistants, if you heard of virtual assistants before. Okay, but these guys take it a step further. I don't only want to give them tasks, I want to give them an accountability, like something they own. So one guy I talked to there, I said, hey, you are the marketing director. So a guy named Brees, I said, you're the marketing director. So you're in charge of the marketing from now on. So what he does is he assembles his own team in the Power of 1,000 Leaders. He says, hey, you're the video editor. Kirby needs a video editor. So he finds his own video editor. He finds his own graphic designer, and he finds his own social media post person. So he has a team of 3 other people. Okay. And what they do is Brees manages the hours they're working, and he has the total number of hours, and he bills me for that. Okay. But I sit together with Brees first, and just like how we did that backwards planning, reverse engineering, I reverse engineer my whole year for what my marketing looks like for my team. And I say, hey, Brees, go execute it. So he gets to be that dummy, right? Like he doesn't have to think or plan anything else, but he can manage that plan now. So that's what I do with the Power 1,000 Leaders. All that goal setting we talked about today, they do that too. So those are the resources I'm going to leave you with. And then I'm gonna have time right now as to like what kind of goals do you have, or anyone online that you want to dissect right now? Okay, because we have We have 20 minutes. Okay. You guys were awesome.
One other resource that Kirby mentioned was the career visioning course. So if you're thinking of actually growing a team or making any sort of hires, like hiring your first admin or hiring a buyer's agent, that course takes you through the process of how to follow that. And then you'll learn about the KPA, which is the color personality assessment, which we have as a tool to help you in the hiring process. So Region will be offering that in December. We don't have the dates confirmed yet, but it'll be a virtual course. It's 2.5 days. It's a very robust course. You'll get something out of it every time. I've taken it multiple times with different instructors, like Kirby, you've taken it, right? Every time you take it, you get a little nugget different than the last time. So we'll share that with you guys once we have information that's going to be offered in December. It's called career visioning.
Career visioning will allow you to build your team. So that remember that question I asked you, the 5-year visioning thing? That was part of the career visioning process. Yeah. And then career visioning will be followed by success through others.
And the 30, 60, 90.
So 3 courses.
Setting up your plan once you've made the hire, right? How to make the hire a successful hire.
Yeah. So really lean on, like, for some of you that are very new to Keller Williams, really lean on your leadership here at the company, because they know how to work backwards with that plan, that goal that you want to do, especially in business. They really know how to work backwards. So that career visioning in December could be in your plan, and you didn't even know that it could be in your plan. Melissa is like, oh, I see your plan here. Take career visioning in December, right? It fits. So anything inside of your goals right now that you might want to work through right now as a whole class, okay? On a backwards plan.
I know that. I feel like I know quite a bit about like Facebook, Instagram, marketing, whatnot, but that's something that's one of my goals is to really become savvy in LinkedIn. I don't know a lot about LinkedIn. Basically, where do I start? I don't want to take a course at a NSCC and be kind of, maybe not exactly what I'm looking for. So some guidance on how to improve that. But I really think that's where it's going to drive business.
Yeah. Okay. So what is that future then? What does that create a future next year?
Sorry, go ahead.
What does it look like next year then? You're what? You're a social media expert, right? Like, so what area do you work?
Right now.
Yeah.
Like geographic.
Yeah, geographic.
HRM, on that vicinity.
Okay, so anybody that lives in that vicinity where you work, like on social media, you are that go-to person, right? Is that the creative future you want to create? Okay. Okay. So then what needs to happen before that happens?
Like a plan to.
Like you are that go-to person, you're famous on social media for that area. Okay, so let's say for that to happen, what needs to happen before that? What causes that to happen? Yeah.
Training.
So people have to know you exist. So is it going to be like you have, let's just say Instagram with like 100,000 followers maybe? So you want to write that down, right? So the backwards planning there is that's how you do reverse engineering. Or you have a Facebook page with 15,000 likes, okay? And then have that as that outcome, where it's not so vague. It's like, oh, I'm going to be causing a lot of business through social media. So you want something that's measurable there. And you say, okay, you have a database, right? You have KW Command database, and you have 5,000 contacts in there, okay, that you met through social media. Okay. So then you have to look at each section, those 3 priorities now, your Instagram, your Facebook, and your Command. What needs to happen for that to happen before that? So you want to set it up like that as a plan, so that you keep working backwards. And then if at the very backwards you worked, it's like, oh, I better take a course on that. Whatever that thing I was looking here, I still don't know how to do that, which is like maybe causing more followers on Instagram, causing my first 10 followers or something, if you're just beginning, right? And I don't actually know how to do that. Then you're like, let's take a course, right? So you unfold and then you backwards plan this, reverse engineer it. So the first step, oh, it turns out I need to take a course, right? Or watch some YouTube videos here about that topic. So you have your 5 topics, 6 topics you need to learn in the beginning. That's usually how I do it, is I go all the way back, and it always goes to, I don't have the knowledge here. I don't even have the knowledge to talk to a team member of what I want, right? So when I go back there, that's what I need to do. So, does that answer your question about how to go backwards? Okay. Yeah. So that course there, I don't know if it's fit for you, but the Facebook Playbook course is about building your database on Facebook. So building raving fans on Facebook, and then you can apply it to Instagram or you apply it to LinkedIn. Okay. But the concept there is that if you have raving fans, we have a ratio of 12 to 2. For every 12 people, you get 2 business. So if you want to do 12 business next year, okay, you need how many? Yeah, that many, 125. Okay, my math is so. Okay, so that's a course that teaches you how to cause raving fans through social media. And those are people that are diehard. Like, they will use you because of your connections with them on social media.
And how do you sign up for that? Because that's this week, right?
That is this week, yes.
So do we sign up through you, or is it through Playbook?
No, that would be through me. Yeah. So you can message me on Kirby Leader on Facebook, and we can get you on that.
I did 2 years ago with Kirby, and I think it was the first time I ever was or anything. It was just like, I didn't know what kiddo you came here.
What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony. Oh, awesome, Anthony. You did the online course?
I know you were here.
Oh,
That
I
was
did
like
that.
2 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, the in-person course?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, it's true. I heard another person that started when I started, took it, made the time to take it.
Yeah.
And said it was awesome.
Thank
And
you.
it's just when he started, so he said he'd like to take it again.
What's
6
his name?
months out. Oh, shit.
It's
I'll
okay.
tell you later.
It's okay.
If anyone's interested, I can refer you to the website. It was nice.
I think his name's Jerry. He uses Facebook.
John Smith.
Okay, so thank you for that. And then anyone else have a goal? What's some of your goals over this side of the room? We haven't heard much.
So I have a goal of
Yeah.
setting another national record for powerlifting before I'm 60.
Wow. Okay. When are you gonna do that? What date?
So I won't be 60 for 3 more years, but it takes a lot of training.
So do you have a date for that yet?
It'll be in February.
Okay.
That's when
So that's an awesome.
competitions are.
That's an awesome goal. So in February next year or the year after?
You're there.
Year after?
Yeah.
Okay, so year after, then what you have is you're gonna have that goal, right? That plan. Because it sounds like you did it before.
Yeah.
You're a champion. Except things are maybe a little different now, right?
Yeah,
So
I have
we're
an
gonna-
injury now,
Yeah, what?
an injury.
You have an injury.
Yeah.
So do you know how to do that plan backwards? From, you visualize yourself standing at the podium.
Yeah.
Okay? And you got it already. Now we just have to figure out the middle part between now and February.
Right.
Okay? Now you're like that amazing director, that screenwriter. Put everything in the middle. Okay. Do you know everything in the middle, or are you gonna consult with
No, I'll
people?
definitely have to consult because, I'll have, in the meanwhile, I'll have to have surgery and then I'll need to recover, so that's the middle part.
Okay. Okay, awesome. That's an awesome goal. What's your name?
Shelley,
And so Shelley, if you didn't have this plan, right, that you're gonna produce, would you just go into the gym and just start lifting randomly?
so that's what I did the first time,
Yeah,
it was awful.
yeah. That's what we don't want you to do this time, okay? We don't want you to do that this time. So you have a trainer or you have a plan that looks over everything, that you're really set up for success, okay?
Yeah.
So That's a great goal. Yeah, I'm also I will be 160 next year. And I'm following a plan. And I want to share with you, last week, I deviated from the plan. I said, I want to impress my coach. I said, I'm going to lift heavier. What do you think happened?
Not good.
Not good. So I hurt my right here. Traps, so not good. So I won't do that again. Just follow the plan. Be a dummy again, okay? I'm not going to impress the coach. Okay. Any other goals?
Lose 30 pounds.
My opposite. You give it to me.
Easy.
So lose 30 pounds. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you've lost it already. Okay? That's who you are. You lost it already. So only can you be that you lost it already, can you start taking the actions. So a funny thing is, let's say one of my friends told me, who's also in the Landmark program with me, he said, there's a funny thing is that if you want to be rich, and you say, I want to be rich first, right? And say, okay, I want to be rich. So what do rich people do then? Rich people will they'll just spend money because they're rich, right? So you're going to be rich, you're going to spend a lot of money, you're going to have what? You're going to actually be broke.
Yeah.
Okay? So that doesn't work, right? So what you got to think now is, I want to be X pounds, right? Minus 30. How am I going to be when I'm that? Okay, so it's like, if I want to be rich, well, you have to be rich. Don't just be rich, right? So being rich means somebody who's really keeps the money accountable, right? Who's working with teams and who's giving opportunities to others so that we could do it together. And that's who you're being. So don't just be rich or be happy. You want to look at who you have to be. Okay? Like you have to be accountable. For me, being knowledgeable. Okay, so that's who I'm going to be inside of that. So if you want to lose 30 pounds, like who do you have to be right now to be that way?
Be an athlete.
Okay, you're being an
I have to
athlete.
run, I have to be a runner again.
Okay, you have to run, have to be an athlete. Okay, and let's just say, by when is going to happen? Next year.
That's what I have to figure out.
Okay, figure that out. By when? So let's just pick a date out of the year next year. When would it happen? I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, let's say, end of March.
Oh, wow.
Might be a little
Yeah,
aggressive, I don't know.
that's great. And there's going to be actions you're going to put in place now, right? Before end of March. So when you put these actions in place, instead of I have to be an athlete now or I have to work out, you are now. I am. Right? You are an athlete already now. Once the plan is put in place, I am an athlete. Okay, it's done already. That's the kind of confidence you have, and there's no more I have to be, or you wake up in the morning, it's like there's no need for that motivation anymore. That's who you are already. You see that?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, any other goals? Let's look at one more, and we'll see if any online people. Yeah, let's take one more. Anthony? Anything from you? You've been quiet the whole class?
I put social media with one.
Okay. Social media?
I'm just bad at like doing it.
Okay. So what do you want to
With that.
Do videos.
do? Videos. So what would that look like next year as a goal?
For me, it's a big thing. With myself.
Okay. So scheduling yourself to make yourself do it, right? Got it. Okay, so how would you set this goal so you don't have to make yourself do it, right? By looking at, like, let's just say, what would you have then next year? Let's focus on what you have next year because of the social media. Well, and then we can turn it into a goal. So what would you have? Would it be deals or would it be contacts? Doubling your followers? Okay. So you have that next year, doubling your followers. So now you want to look at what needs to happen before doubling your followers, okay? And what needs to happen before that to happen. So you want to come up with a plan, okay? Now, you may not know how to do it. So you consult somebody who has that number of followers you want. So you have 5,000 followers, you want to double it to 10,000. You talk to somebody who has 10,000 followers. Find out how they did it. And then you find out how to do it, okay, without you hating it. Find someone else to do that stuff you just said that you hate to do. Find someone else to do it. So you just told me that you hate doing the post, right? Or scheduling it. Find someone else to schedule it or do the post for you. Okay, so one thing I share a trick for you. This is masterminding right now. I would hold the phone and use Siri or do voice dictation. I'll say what I want in my post. And then I'll just send it over to my assistant. Okay? And she'll turn it into a post. So that's something that can be freedom and ease for you.
And then you can schedule it, I guess, I don't know either.
Yeah.
And then you can schedule your posts, if someone creates them for you, you can schedule them ahead of time and then they automatically go out.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful. I have
Canvas
to look
that.
into that.
And then is your post done as a video now?
You can do
You
videos
can do
as
that.
well.
You can do that as well.
I just set them ahead of time. I don't know how far
Record a
you can
video.
set them, but you can set them and then they just go and you don't need to worry about it.
Maybe set ours all at a time
Yeah.
for the office.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love
and you
that.
can do it in command.
Oh, yeah?
Jessica can help you with that.
Right there. Here's a team. Here's
Thanks
a
for
teammate.
volunteering.
Here's a teammate, right? Here's a teammate to make it easy. Anthony, teammate. Make it easy, right? So everything that you guys set up, like what I want for all of you, everyone at home, is that freedom and ease. So there's nothing that you hate doing. Everything's set up in a plan. Okay. That you create those teams, people that love doing what you hate doing, let them take it on, okay? And then just have these crazy goals that you guys are writing down. Being the champion weightlifting, marathon runners, right? Lots of big business for you guys. Write it all down. If I think of myself as being leashed before, right now I have a feeling of being unleashed and being fully powerful in my business. And that's what I want to leave with all of you today, is that you're unleashed now. Okay, your wildest dreams is attainable now. Right? So thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Thank you for